Peace. Hey, how are you? It's good to see you. Good to see you. What's happening, family? Gonna just, I kind of just popped in, so I'm just gonna give people some time to possibly join the live. If not, hey. If they can't catch me, so like I said, so I'm just popping up. There'll be a replay of this, but I found myself with a little bit of happy to see you too. I'm glad I was able to find a little bit of time. This week has kind of been a little crazy for me. Ain't complaining, but I was supposed to be here on Wednesday. Didn't make it. But hey, I am here now. So hopefully people are able to catch us and join us for our second week of dissolving the dirt. Yeah, I get a lot of handsy clients. Well, not a lot, but I get some. You know what I mean? So it kind of comes with the territory. But hey Sophia, how are you? I'm gonna try to catch with you tomorrow, and I'll give you the time in a little while. Cause I don't even look, guys. Me and schedules, you just gotta understand. I be in like two different worlds. Y'all be lucky that show up on time, period, on the right damn day. So working on that, but I'm gonna get it together. Thank God for scheduling apps, right? But I definitely wanted to make sure that we got together this week to do this round of dissolving the dirt. And I don't know who I was here with you last week, but if you were and you received some benefit from it, please let me know. I know the next day I had immense benefit. Things started taking off in a crazy way. So I'm like, oh shit, I guess I did dissolve some dirt, right? But it's really, really impactful. So this week, and I did some other things, right? Because it's Friday, so we can have some Friday conversation if y'all want, right? But how to get better at this, right? Because we have these techniques and they're real common, but we don't get the actual effectiveness out of it that we could because we don't really understand how to apply it. Because it's a whole system. It's not just like closing your nostrils or this or that. Hey Mars, how are you? Good to see you. My sight is down. I'm having a hosting issue, so that's another reason you heard from me, Mars. But I'm working on it. Anyways, guys, what the fuck ever. Get it together. I'm glad. And I want to take this week to go another level deeper, right? So everything we talk about is either about self-discovery, pleasure, and power. Right, so we're talking about healing. We're talking about healing through self-discovery, pleasure, and power. Or our healing is going to give us pleasure, or through pleasure we're discovering ourselves, or we're releasing more power. But these are the pillars and tenets that we're always dealing with, right? So when I am bringing these things to you, it's designed to help you gain more power, discover yourself, and feel good, goddamn. Because why not, right? Why not? So last week, for those who aren't with us, we did a very common breath work that most people know as alternate nostril breathing. But I presented it from the Buddhist perspective of the 9 breathings of purification. Of course, you could do more than 9, but we just did 9. So if you have been working with that and you feel like you want to work in one channel more than the other, go ahead and do that. Do what feels right for you. But we're going to take it a little bit deeper, like I said, this week, and kind of focus on the wins and focus on how to choose what we're deleting. So when we're doing each of these breaths, right, we did like the right channel. We focus on an occasion that causes anger or aversion or avoidance or procrastination, right? Any of these kind of feelings. So when we're picking these things to take into the process to clear out, right? Because we're breathing in, thinking this thing and shooting it out the other channel, dissolving out the other channel, right? It's human nature to choose things with your conscious mind. But you can't, because the conscious mind can't really make conscious change. It got to kind of come from the subconscious or from a non-conceptual place. So what we do is we focus on the feeling that we get when we think about this thing, right? So when you focus on the feeling that you feel when you're thinking about this moment that caused you anger, or caused you aversion or caused you whatever else, you want to see where in the body you feel it. Or if you're kind of sensitive to energy and you can feel your energy, like I said, we have these channels that are like tubes or rivers, and through that our energy is flowing. And they say that the energy is like winds, and on these winds carries our emotions, our thoughts, all of this stuff. So if you're sensitive enough, you can tap into the sense of the wind, which is the gold. And then you can see all of these emotions that's right on top, and it's easier to delete it. But we just want to focus on the feeling. So let's say I'm thinking about a time that somebody cussed me out, and I didn't deserve to be cussed out. I feel it right here. You see what I'm saying? So when I'm doing my breathing, all I'm going to do is focus on that feeling and focus on the clarity or the space that's created as I'm breathing out that channel. So this is the Buddha style, right? Right finger, right nostril, and through the left, and we're breathing in light green healing energy. Okay? Close the left. We're thinking about something that made us angry or avoidant, and we're going to blow out the right nostril. Okay? This channel is red, and we're clearing that out. But like I said, we're feeling the feeling of the thing that made us angry, not the thought and the story of what happened that made us angry. The feeling. I feel it here. Hey, hey, hey. Okay? Y'all feel me? Y'all understand kind of what I'm talking about? So when we do the love channel, it's things that we're holding on to that we don't want to let go of. And this will be in any aspect of life. Any aspect of life. But when you do it this way, by focusing on the feeling, you can actually feel the clarity. And when you get the clarity, that's when you get the true answer to what your problem is. Or you get down to the source root of what the issue is. Because honestly, though the stories are valid, it ain't doing nothing but cluttering up your system. And it's hard to process. You can ask yourself a million effing questions. Chances are you'll never get to the bottom of it. But if you search for the clarity and the feeling, you'll get it. So we're about to run it. Okay? We're about to run the series. And then after that, we're going to talk a little bit about where we're going again on the next series. Okay? Guys, it's been a damn week. It's been a week. It's been a effing week. The reason why I have time now is because of the week that it's been. Okay, so this is why we're going to do this clearing. So like I said, we're just going to cross our legs, just like last time, right? Crossing our legs promotes a feeling of warmth within our system. Okay? It's like the sun shining. And as we clear all these channels, we're clearing out the clouds of our mind consciousness, and we're letting the sun shine, right? The sun is always there, just like in nature. The sun is always there. Sometimes the clouds obscure, it looks like a cloudy day, but the sun is always really shining. This is how it is inside. So we're going to start with our right channel. That means we're going to take our right ring finger, close our right nostril. Okay? Inhale through the left, and the channel goes like this, collects down here, and then we're going to switch. Well, hold for a second. Hold your breath for a second. Feel. And then we're going to exhale out this one. Okay, ready? Here we go. Breathing in. Thinking of something that made us angry or something we avoided. Breathing out. Breathing normally. Feeling for a second. Doing it again. Here we go. In. Here we go. In. Filling the space. Blowing out kind of hard. Breathing normally. Feeling a little space in this right channel about right here. A little bit of openness. And just focus on the openness. If you feel any, just focus on that openness. Get real comfortable in that openness. The longer you can focus on it, the better this is going to work. Focus on that openness. All right. We're going to the left nostril. Left ring finger, left nostril. We're breathing in light green. All right. Thinking of something that we've been holding on to and we refuse to let go of. Okay. Ready? Here we go. Breathing out. Breathing in. Out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Let that shit go. Feeling for the space. Right in this left channel here. Right. Still feeling this one. Almost like you have some suspenders, but it's just a nice little tube of openness. Just focus on the openness. And then lastly, we're going to go up through the middle channel. This is lack of confidence, and all the things that go with that. I'm kind of breath high, so I'm not going down the list, right? But lack of confidence, disconnection, not trusting yourself, all of that. So we're going through both nostrils, around, down, breathe in the green. We're coming up the blue channel, up and out the crown. And it comes out the crown, it is dispersing into air, right? Dispersing into space, dissolving, if you will. Okay? Ready? Here we go. Breathing in, green, light green energy. Collecting here. Breathing in. All right. Last one. Out the crown. You gotta take time to rest at the end, right? If you don't take that time to rest at the end, you're gonna be thinking and you're gonna be doing, it's gonna get in the way of the clarity. That's part of the secret. You have to take the time to rest in between the breaths and at the end. So every time you do this breathing sequence, whether you do it 9 times, you do it 27 times, whatever, 9, 18, 27, whatever. At the end, pause, spend time in the space. And the longer you spend time in the space, the easier it's going to come about and the more powerful the things are going to happen. And the faster your intuition is going to grow, the easier it's going to be able to, you're going to be able to understand what it is you're trying to figure out, or the missing piece, or what the source of your issue is, right? Because the space that's coming is the clarity or the original you before all of the conditioning. You see what I'm saying? So all the different chatter in your mind is like the clouds is obscuring the sun on a sunny day. And you get enough of them, it's a rainy, scary day. The weather is effed up. You're having a hurricane inside. But that don't mean the sun ain't still shining somewhere above this hurricane. So we need to clean these clouds, right? So this is what this does. So I know when I was just doing, especially in the middle of channel, I cycle a lot of purple and kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh shit. I was expecting because I was just, guiding you guys through. But that felt really, really good for me. And I hope it did for you as well. So how are you guys feeling? If anybody wants to, put it in the chat, that's cool. If you're feeling good, press a 1, a thumb, or something like that. And we're about to, hi person. I don't want to mess up my life, but I can definitely take a session because that's some time. And I'm at the office, right? So if anybody can get here in the next 30 minutes, I'm just playing. Not really though. So yeah, I feel good. So I have been on a path and a journey. So doing this stuff, I'm constantly clarifying. I know, Buzzy, I'm trying not to act high because it was just me in here. I'd be laid on this table and I'm like, tingling in the head, and I just kind of just go into the whole thing. This is the thing, like people be like, I don't want to meditate, it's so hard, it's this and this and that. I'm like, no, it's relaxation, it's self-care. When you do it right, it releases a beautiful cocktail of endorphins similar to orgasm. And orgasm releases a huge cocktail of endorphins unlike anything we have ever seen that would snatch your soul into the multiverse and different timelines and bring your ass back into a pile of dust. And you thought that you died. And all of this can happen through our breath, through our pleasure, through whatever else. You see what I'm saying? You meditate, talk about tantra, shit get poetic. However, what's going on? So, not as good as the first time I joined a session with you. Well, it happens. So, just keep working to it. And every time it's different. You see what I'm saying? Because each time you do it, you're in a different place. So, things happen. keep trying, for real. And that's what this is. This is not something that you ever just get. Sometimes it's harder than others to work through, and this is why we practice it on the days where it's easy. So when it's just hitting the wall or your energy is totally off or whatever else, you can use this to bring yourself back. And it's technology. You see what I'm saying? It's technology for your life. So speaking of technology for our lives, I'm a real fan of results. And I'm up here showing y'all stuff, right? And I'm up here teaching classes and all this other stuff. But really, I'm on a journey. And I'm trying to figure out myself. And I'm trying to figure out how to maximize this life and all this other stuff. So I'm constantly doing my shadow work. I'm constantly digging into the crates to see what I can uncover. So as of late, I have really been embracing this concept of existential kink. And it's not anything particularly new, but I guess I was ready to embrace it. Hi, how are you? Good evening. I was ready to embrace it now. And the existential kink is kind of not really based on, but is most known in Freudian psychology about like those hidden desires that we have that we want to act like, not really want to act like, but it's actually subconscious. So a lot of the suffering that we go through, we self-create because a part of us really likes it. And initially, like, that's ridiculous. Why would I create something like that? Why would I? Yeah. Existential kink is in here now for sure. And why would I create all this negativity for myself? And I'm like, okay, this sounds ridiculous. But if I just think about it, use it as an axiom, right? Like an axiom is just an idea that we play with to see what would happen in the outcome. It's not a belief that we're actually digesting. It's just an idea that we're playing with to see what it does for us. So I'm like, okay, adaramoselle, if God created all things And there's definitely war and homicide and all kinds of horrible things that goes upon in the world. There's all kinds of effed up ish that we're regularly reminded of. And God definitely created all of those things. Maybe there's some fucked up ish and fucked up things about God, which we all know, right? But if I'm creating God's image, doesn't that mean there's some fucked up things about me? But if everything is about me experiencing and this and this and that, what is trying to experience through these parts of me that may be unsavory? And the concept of existential kink is to love your shadowy, nasty sides. But not just like, oh, I like this little nasty thing. But more so like, I keep myself in a state of poverty because there's something in there that I'm getting from it. For instance, I keep not me particularly, but let's say somebody, I keep myself in a state of poverty because I feel deep down that I get some kind of reward for being a martyr, or I get some kind of reward for being sacrificial, or if I give of myself, then I could feel like I'm better than everybody and all this other stuff, and it's satisfying some weird masochistic portion of myself. And it's something, again, you got to keep in mind, this is unconscious. It's not something that's on the forefront of your mind. So there are exercises where you question yourself, right? You question yourself. You make a list of the things that you hate most. All right? Make a list of the things that you hate most, the things that you complain about, and you just ask what could possibly be in there. So, for instance, what was one that I did? Because when I tell y'all, I embraced it, and then when I say the next day I felt different, like for real different. Cause I only got TMI, you know what I'm saying? But cause I found like 4 really good ones. Okay. So this one I can share is not that bad, right? So I had this complex I realized about saving the world. And I was like, why do I feel like I have to always like come to the rescue and stuff? And I realized that I feel like I have to do certain things to pull people along who can't pull themselves. And deep down, it makes me feel like obviously a hero, I'm saving the day and all this other stuff. But on the surface, it's like I'm just trying to make it happen because I love my family or whatever else. But when I started thinking about it, diving down in, I was like, my mother was scared of debt and stuff. She worried really bad. She ended up in the hospital. Like one day I was at school and I just didn't see her again, right? And I realized then, which this is something I blocked out in my memory, I realized then that I made a decision that if I can save everybody financially or whatever else, that I can keep my mom around and she won't ever leave me. But more than that, I'll see her happy and I can see her smile. You see what I'm saying? And I realized that it wasn't even the fear of not having her. It was, I genuinely wanted to see her smile because as a child, I can't speak for everybody. My mom has this huge smile. It's just like radiant, right? So when she gets excited, she's super giddy and stuff. It's like a vibe. So like, I wanted to see that smile. And I was like, damn, all of the pressure of this, which seemed like me putting too much pressure on myself, me setting unrealistic goals, me doing all of this stuff, was really just a child wanting to see their mother smile, right? So there's a secret innocence under there. So I'm like, okay, I acknowledge this innocence in me that wants to provide joy and pleasure and happiness to the world. Look at my job now, right? Joy and pleasure and happiness to the world. But I also realized that I signed myself up for contracts that nobody asked me to take on. I took on jobs and complex in my mind that nobody asked me to take on. And in addition to that, I locked them into a relationship that they didn't agree to be in because now I put myself in a place that, you see what I'm saying? It gets deep. And as soon as I let that stuff go, something has changed. I don't get up to detail, but some things change, right? Like, change. You feel me? Change. Even in my body, like when I went to sleep that night, I felt myself working on myself. I felt like the energy coming into my body and consciously, like I'm asleep, I consciously feel it and consciously feel my brain like shifting around to adjust it better. And since then, like super open, super clear, super energetic, just getting it. I was like, damn, I feel really, really, really good. Really good. Same thing with my relationship. Like the things that I at times complain about, I'm like, this scenario is perfect. So example, right? So what about existential kinks? Again, I don't like arguing. I don't like how it feels. But I feel like if we're arguing and you say something, even though it's going to hurt my feelings, I still want you to say that shit because I want to know what you really think. And like, even though it might be effed up, at least I get the pure version of you. And it's like a part of me likes it, right? There's always this thing, this part of me likes it. And as soon as I realized that I really just want to know the truth, and I pretending to have my feelings hurt. My feelings ain't really hurt because I don't really give a fuck. I just want to know that you think similar of me as I think of me. And if you don't, now I'm offended because bitch, why don't you see me the way I see me, right? And it's this whole thing. It's like, oh. And then like, again, like you said, the paradox of being. And they were like, okay, I put up a real, this is most people, 96% of people. I put a real protest anytime somebody sees me other than the way I see myself. Knowing good and well, you better can see yourself, baby. So when people reflect who you really are to, you hate that shit. You hate that shit. Look, we hate that shit. So the first tenet of existential kink is assuming that I am definitely different than who I think that I am. Right? So we just playing in this mirror like, I am nothing like I think that I am. So if you were nothing like you thought that you were, and you just kind of delved into this, it kind of just took some time to look into yourself to see, okay. There is a part of me that likes being in this tumultuous relationship, that likes all this hecticness, because though it hurts and is violent, I love the fact that somebody is into me so much that they can't help being around me, and it throws them into this thing because their love for me is so sincere. It's a drug for them. And people like that shit. They don't know it. They don't know it. They don't know it. And this is the same person that if she's getting abused and you break it up, fellas, she's going to start fighting you for beating up the dude who's beating her up. These are the same things that's happening, guys. This shit right here. So when we start dealing with concepts like existential kink and looking in this shadow side of ourselves and then not judging it, but just actually accepting the fact you kind of fucking like it, right? When you just accept it, now you satisfied your need to have, because having is evidence of wanting. So if you satisfy it, just like you have a hankering from sugar, you eat some, now you find about, you know what I'm saying? You automatically let it go, you break the pattern. You see what I'm saying? You break the pattern and all the energy comes back in. So this is not something that you do on something that is fresh. This is not stuff that you do on like childhood stuff. Like mine was an adult thing, and thank you. It's an adult thing, but that took me back into childhood. But it's not like I'm trying to process a childhood molestation. We don't do existential kink on that. You see what I'm saying? We don't do existential kink on a very recent heartbreak. Something that's real tender. This is something that you do once you got a little scab on it. You know what I'm saying? You okay in life, and you just kind of processing through, and you're like, you know what? I'm kind of ready to work through this thing. This is where we apply stuff like existential kink. And then you could take it further into whatever else, right? So, okay, last one to share, and then we're going to go into something else. It depends on how much battery I got, because this was a pop-up. So, this was a very interesting one for me. So finances has always been an issue for me. Like, I'm doing better in life than I ever have, right? But finances have always been an issue for me. And I was like, what reason would I have for wanting to be broke? And I was like, okay. I really believe that I'm God, right? Like, there is no caveat. It's like, I am God, period. Right? So if this is the case, what joy would God get by making themselves poor? Or, so when you have money, what happens? You have access to resources. You can do different things. So really, I'm reducing my options or creating limitations for myself. Why would God want to create limitations for itself? Because if it didn't, the game would be too effing easy. So I gotta put myself in something, right? And I was like, oh. And then I thought about the fact that I like shibari. For those who don't know, this is rope bondage stuff, right? I like shibari, but it's more so because it feels like it's bringing my energy in and constricted. As soon as I was like, I'm okay not playing in limitations, more things opened up. And that is something I've been wrestling with for a while. Like, even with my energy work, I'm like, I don't want to fully let my foot off the brake because I'm afraid I might kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like that's a real fear that I have, right? And then when my mentor is like, that's real because he killed a dog or some shit, something, you know, I don't know. He was meditating in his backyard and a dog across the street died. Anyways. Shaman stories and energy stories. But I'm like, what happens if I really take my foot off the brake and I let this stuff really take my life over? Or what kind of person would I be if I didn't have limitations? You see what I'm saying? Like, would it go to my mind? Because I swear to God, y'all, like, I know I had a past life as a cult leader. I know I did. And I know I had a past life as somebody who took advantage of people. I know I did. You see what I'm saying? So in this life, that's something that really, really scares me. Like, I don't even want to do anything that's even remotely close to looking like I'm running a cult or anything like that, right? But I'm like, what would happen? So I just had to play in the idea of the joy that I would get from, you know, being whatever the fuck it would look like, you know? And somebody posted something on social media. I can't remember who it was. But they were saying, all you healers, all you spiritual people, whatever else, you're in your villain era. And I'm like, I definitely am in my villain era. I definitely am. I definitely am. And this came at the perfect time because it gave a place for it in my healing process. And so when we're doing this stuff, going back to alternate nostril breathing or 9 minutes of purification, when you do this kind of stuff, when it's time for you to learn certain lessons that could be dangerous for the average person, is coming from a much clearer place and you could process it in a much clearer way. So therefore it's not no danger for real. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can see clearly what is for you and what's not. What is a obstruction of your mind and what's not. What is some bullshit and what's not. You know what I'm saying? That is what enlightenment really is, guys. Be there just to... So, and existential kink and tantric shadow work or whatever else, we're just looking at our poo. And you can either flush it or you can compost it in to make a beautiful garden. These are the things that we're doing. So that's just something that I just wanted to just throw out there. I know it's not going to be for everybody. You know, it's not, thank you, baby. It's not going to be for everybody. But for us with our big girl bras on and big boy pants on and all this stuff, and we're ready to like dip our toe in the real shit, we will consider these sides of us. Right? Because for most of us, all we've ever known is conditioning. And if you're anything like me, you're curious to find out who you are without it. Like, what do I like without this stuff? You see what I'm saying? Like, what do I like? What am I into? What do I want to eat? Where do I want to go? Even with my work, why am I doing this? Why am I teaching people Tantra? Is it because I think the world needs it, or is it because I want people to think I came across a good idea and they should get on the bandwagon because it proves that I'm right? These are the ideas that you got to play with. Otherwise, you'll always be an illusion, and there'll always be some sort of blind side. You know what I mean? Real. Thank you. Because I'm like, man, I'm just super real with myself, man. And I'd be seeing people out here There's no shade to anybody. And I'm like, I'm just not trying to fall in box A, B, C, or D. I could be a composite of a lot of these boxes, but I just don't really want to fall into the box. So when I do my spiritual work, it may not be at the river with a bell and whatever else. It's probably, I don't know what it is, but it's just a real time stuff. And I'm doing it here, here, here. And then I might wash myself in the river when I have the luxury, but I can't because I have 2 tiny kids and no damn childcare. Anyway. The healing happens in real time. The work happens in real time. It is not a costume I wear. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is not a costume. This shit is my real life. I process this way all the time. I use it for everything. When I'm dealing with my partner, we have arguments. This is how I keep myself from flipping out, or realize when I'm being wrong, or realize when I'm tripping and all this other stuff, or realizing when I've asked him to do something and he is doing it, but he's doing it his own time in his own way, which is something that most women miss. We ask men to do stuff, they're actually doing it. They're just not doing it the way you thought they was going to do it, because they're different people. But once you realize how to observe yourself, you can be like, oh shit, I'm overwomaning. Let me just sit down and shut up and let me just watch this stuff come together. And then next thing you know, he done hit all the ways in the way that builds him up. You see what I'm saying? And the fact you sat down and shut up silently shows him that you have confidence in him. There's like so much reciprocal action that comes from watching yourself and working with yourself and building yourself. Like, you have effect on the world around you. Like, if my videos don't show y'all nothing else, like, that's why I'm showing y'all this stuff. It's not because I'm trying to look cool or look like I'm doing magic or whatever the fuck else. I want you to know that you really, truly, literally affect the world around you every time you do something, with every thought that you have, the way you speak, the way you position your body. Like, if I sit at y'all like this, it's different than if I sit at y'all like this and talk to you. It's different if I sit like this. It's different if I sit like this. Like, everything matters, and it's adjusting, right? So when you have this kind of perspective of the world, you take yourself out of the victim mentality. You have to. You see what I'm saying? You have to. And you put the powers in the right, I ain't gonna say you put the powers in the right place, because you gotta know where to put them. But once you have the perspective, it's like, you just can't act like you don't know no more. You see what I'm saying? Like, things just adjust naturally, and it's not as hard. And then for me, and hopefully you figure out too, like, life don't gotta be as hard as people make it. Most of the suffering that happens in the world is because people be doing dumb shit. Yes, everything happens for reasons. Everything has a reason. Sometimes that reason is because you're stupid as F. Sometimes it's because you're inconsiderate. Sometimes it's because God has a sense of humor. There's always a reason, right? But you got to take responsibility for the things that you could have controlled. So when we did our exercise last week, we were looking at our thought patterns. The part of that was like, you just recognizing the fact that you sent this foolishness out into the world, right? Like, when you were mad and just doing something, your kid said something that had nothing to do with what you was mad about, and you snapped at them and called them stupid because they made a mistake and possibly irrevocably hurt them in a way that you would never conceptualize. I want you to be aware of this stuff, family. I want you to be aware of this stuff. Be aware, please. Please, 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 please. Lack of awareness is how people get raped. Lack of awareness is how people can hurt children. You see what I'm saying? Like, and at every moment you have an opportunity to stop the hurt that you're causing people. Right? So when you're in an argument with your lover and you're about to say something that crosses the line for no other reason than the fact that you want to feel some sick something, which is valid. Just own it. You can catch yourself, because, like, is the weird pleasure I'm about to get gonna be worth the hurt that I'm gonna cause my partner that I probably can't fix? You know what I mean? You catch yourself in a moment, all them damn blackouts, all the shit, man. All of this shit, man, it's like, it's frivolous and you can't help but laugh at it. It's like, you can't help but laugh at it because you're thinking clearly, okay? Clearly. Yeah. So let me see what the heck y'all are talking about, because dumb shit befalls man, yo. And you know what? That goes. It's Friday. Let's talk it. I've been drinking anyway, too. Anyways, I was having a conversation with an energy that could be a cousin to the devil. All right, let's say that. And it was explaining to me how often all it really does is exploit people's stupidity. They know that you have this version of you that you will not give any attention to, that is haunting you at night, and the fact that you won't be honest with yourself is silly. In the eyes of beings and stuff is silly. And the fact that you may possibly deny wisdom, which is possibly talking to somebody, whatever else, is also silly. So things come about in your life to fuel your stupidity, or give you the opportunity to act on your stupidity, or choose wisdom. The more you choose stupid, the more devil is alive in your life. You feel me? And stupid is not necessarily an IQ thing. It's more so going against that thing that you know you just shouldn't do. And how do we know? We have a feeling. We have a feeling. Probably a gut feeling. A whatever feeling. But there's something that's like, I don't know if I should go ride with Tommy tonight. But that's my friend. If he's going, I'm going. And then you spend the next 15 years of your life in jail because Tommy went and murdered somebody in the house and got back in the car and you didn't know nothing about it. These kinds of things. You had feelings. But, so what this thing was telling me was like, there's a point where stupidity is fun. And then there's a point where it turns maniacal, because the thought process that made you attach to that behavior, you double down on, to the point where you can no longer see reason. And they just keep feeding you to it, feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding until you just take yourself down this road. And ideally, you would get enough pain from it that you would turn around and change course. However, you don't. So in a lot of cultures, they say, if you go to hell, the demons that you encounter are the demons that you created here in this life. So the teacher that I had for Tantra, Master Jan Morris, wrote a book called The Oracle of Kim Sanu. Great book. Check it out if you like fiction. Really, really good book. But this African warlord died, went to hell, and on his back he started growing these bubbles or pustules that was birthing these different demons. So he had like a rape demon that came with, wreaking havoc upon him. An orphan one, all these things that were just like terrifying and terrorizing him. But all these things were the actions of foolishness that you did in your life. You see what I'm saying? So everything is duality in this world. So when we're talking Tantra, we're also talking about the duality of stupid-ish and wisdom, just as much as masculine and feminine, light and dark, whatever else. All of this stuff is the braiding together of your parts and keeping the right head above the other heads, family. But these exercises, as simple as they seem, as common as they are, please don't sleep on the simple. They work, they work, they work. That's why you know about them. That's why you know about them. That's why they made it from ancient texts into modern, everyday YMCA yoga. They actually work, family. So I don't want y'all to just because something seems real simple or real common, that it's not worth putting your energy into, okay? A lot of this stuff is designed to be done on the fly, to be done quickly, to be done covertly. So everybody does not know that you're doing breath work or energy work or whatever else under the guise of what you're doing. But I just sincerely suggest that y'all keep looking at this. So bringing it back, I'm getting to the comments in a second, bringing it all the way back. This is the act of choosing. If you have free will, the most important thing is what you are choosing and how you decide what to choose. And in our a lot of our self improvement paths or whatever else, we are spending time trying to fix things that don't really matter. It's superficial. If your thinking mind can come up with it, it's superficial. You see what I'm saying? Because it can only understand certain things. The non-conceptual mind picks up so much more, and then your conceptual mind, I'm gonna say left and right because it's not necessarily left and right. Your conceptual mind makes things of it. So this is why we go into the body, right? This is why we go into the body. We rewire the body through the brain, through the body. This is why we also go in through the spirit and all this other stuff, right? We're trying to rewire, open up pathways, energize, boost, all these things. And it feels really good even when it doesn't. Because if you do it right, it doesn't last that long. Okay? I promise. All right, let's see. We have an angel and devil on our shoulder every day. Give us a choice. Yeah, for better or for worse, man. For better or for worse. It's like, do you really want what you want? Then make the choices for better to get that or not. So if you're laying on the couch instead of doing the things you need to do to get where you say you want to go, that's foolish, ain't it? And then depression comes and all this other stuff comes. And each time you have a choice to get out of it. The choice is Jacob's ladder, honestly. People make stuff so deep and so whatever else. It's the choice, man. Because even God, you had to choose what to create. There's a lot of things you could have created. There's a lot of animals that could have been here that's not here. Why did you choose to create the ones that you did? Anyway. Yeah. God's too smart to play a less winning, for sure. Yeah. Why would I choose to suffer? Like, ask yourself that, for real. Oh, man. Do you guys have any questions or anything like that? Oh, so DC, I'm not going to make it to DC November 16th. I have to postpone that. I have some other opportunities that I would like to take advantage of. So I'm going to let y'all know when I'll be going to DC. I launched my membership. It's Ko-Fi. Yeah, coffee, ko-fi.com/adaramoselle. I have 3 levels. And that is, like I said, is probably going to take the place of my classes. And then we're probably just going to end up doing events and retreats and stuff like that. Because I have a lot of stuff that I want to give to y'all. But it's kind of hard to give them just in class sessions. So I need to kind of just have a place where I can just like dump information all over the place. So you also get access to my library that I have been collecting for a long time. I think I have over 2,000 books in it. So I'll be releasing, books that are free to the community, as well as some other things, some videos that I can't post places, all that type of stuff. So it's going to be good. So if you're interested in that, check it out. My site is down at the moment. Hope to have it up in the next week, going through that. What else? What else? I don't know. I kind of want to go into using the shadow stuff for pleasure, but I feel like it's going to be a long conversation, and I don't know. Maybe I'll save that for next week. But it can be fun to use the shadow stuff for pleasure. For sure. And for those of you guys who do energy work with me, who have studied with me, there are definitely some things that we can do in that aspect. And it's very fun and very transformational and all those things. So yeah, I might talk about that next week. This week I kind of just wanted to build a little bit upon what we talked about last week. Speak on, I bet you want me to. I keep some in the pocket. Yeah, I keep a couple things in the pocket. I'm working on some things, and one of them's gonna be a manual of how to get a quick reaction from your mates based on their shadow selves and all of that. So that's gonna be interesting. If y'all need sessions or something, hit me up, DM me on Instagram, because like I said, my site is down for like the next couple days. And I'll see y'all next week. Let's share a question. I ain't seen that. Okay. All right, see ya.